All right, welcome back from the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, July 25th, 2022. If you like the content, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. We do finally have a planned date for the cycles webinar, which will be done live. So it's going to be August 21st at 12 p.m. So if you can make that, come out. And it's really going to be a lot of stuff going over, stuff that I've never revealed before, about cycles. Again, how I picked the top in Tesla to the day, not just to the day, to the price. Shorting the market on December 30th, 2021, all that stuff. It's going to be revealed here next month. And so highly encourage everybody to get out and show up for that. But in any case here, really light volume session in the markets. You see the spiders are now flat, getting a nice bid up here in the last 20-30 minutes or so. Really the last hour we bottomed out at about right about 3 o'clock there, and we've just kind of floated up ever since then. And it's really been a light volume kind of chop session, and really the market's just waiting on Google, waiting on Microsoft reporting tomorrow, Visa. There's a bunch of others, Texas Instruments, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, UPS, Raytheon, Mondelez, Canadian National Railway, so 3M, GE. So there's a lot, Fiserv. So a lot of GM as well. So a lot of big earnings tomorrow. And then obviously after that, we've got, the Fed Wednesday. We've got Qualcomm, Meta, T-Mobile, Boeing. And then on Friday or Thursday, that's the big day. So Apple, Amazon, MasterCard, Pfizer, Merck, Intel, etc. But obviously Apple's the big one there. But in any case, nice little power bar here on the spider. Look at this. And this is what happens when you have light volume. They can just, it's like they spent all day. The shorts spent all day pushing us down here, and then very little volume here. The other robots can just push it right up. If we take a look here on the daily. There's Google C right into that little trend line there. Now this could go either way tomorrow. It could break down, it could break up. It's really hard. Technical analysis kind of goes out the window on earnings, right? So it's kind of a toss up here. That's why I don't play into earnings, but that's what we're looking at on Google tomorrow. Let's take a look at Microsoft just for the heck of it. Yeah, so there's your kind of trend line there on Microsoft. Possible little inverse head and shoulders there, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. If it does break, that would trigger that. So that would obviously be good for the market here. But take a look at the spiders. So again, really light volume. I mean, we're just we're going to close in about 2 minutes, and we haven't even done 45 million shares. So the market's really waiting on the Fed. It's really waiting on earnings. As far as the Fed is concerned, 75 basis points is expected. So that's kind of the move. I mean, on an outside chance, there's a 1% increase. That's not likely to happen from everybody I've talked to inside circles and so on. But the important thing is that there's no meeting until September. So what their verbiage is and their kind of demeanor tomorrow is going to really, the market's going to hone in on that. I don't think the market really cares about the rate hike. I think we already know that. But that's kind of what the market's looking at here. Now, as far as the technical picture, obviously we broke out of this little kind of wedge pattern here last week. We talked about that, obviously. No more need to really go over that, but went up to that 400 level, and now you're kind of just inside bar here. So you got that candle from Thursday, and we're just kind of inside of that. So really, it's preliminary, but you could have, kind of a bullish inside bar forming. Again, this market's got to, the last time we had a bullish inside bar, it broke down. So you got to be aware of this. The market is in a downtrend right now, and this is pretty good resistance. I mean, this is a pretty, high volume gap down that we had there. So there's a lot of longs that are trapped that tried to buy into the close. There's, people trapped in there. So it's going to take some backing and filling to get through that. That doesn't mean it can't happen. And again, if Google and Microsoft crush earnings, the market will be able to get through that area. That's really what it comes down to. And then obviously the Fed, that could throw a curveball. So this whole week is I'm pretty more neutral more than anything. I'll give the market a kind of an upside bias right now as long as the volume remains light. And as long as we hold this inside bar, but overall, again, it could go either way at this point. Triple Qs here came down. Obviously, we filled the gap, got up to that red bar high, and now we're pulling back here. Markets are about to close here in about 5 seconds. So, wow, look at the bid on the spiders there, right up to that 100 moving average there on the 10-minute, as there is the closing bell. So up 16 basis points, Qs down a little bit more here. We'll check back in on that later. But again, if we do pull back a little bit further, got some support right here. So here's your pivot high, pivot high. So it'd be interesting if we came back down and kind of made like a little flag pattern and pushed up. It's totally possible, but right now, generally just kind of neutral with the market, given the fact that there's so much, market moving news right now, earnings and, obviously the Fed. So you got to be careful with this market. And we're actually pretty light here. We were obviously long for a little bit. We took some profits. Now we're still holding a few runners, but much, much lighter with the swing trades right now. Just kind of holding runner positions and not looking to add, a whole lot right now. As this market's kind of, you got to be nimble in this market. We're in a bear, we're in a downtrend, and we've had a bullish pattern fail already, so there's no saying that, or nothing to say it can't happen again. So you got to be careful, bottom line. But anyways, let's look over here on the Russell. So down 50, or actually up. Russell was actually up 56 basis points. So a little bit of recovery here from small caps, still inside of the reversal from Friday. So, not the greatest look here. You got to get above this red bar. That's really good resistance at that gap fill there. But again, Russell hanging in there, and it managed to scratch out a gain today. And it was actually positive really all day long, except for the last, just right into that 3 o'clock time frame was pretty much positive all day long. So Russell holding up okay. Diamond here, again, kind of an inside candle inside of Friday's move. Won't make too much out of it. Again, volume's very light. 3M is a Dow component. They report tomorrow, so that will be market moving as well. Let's take a look at the semis. So semis actually had a bullish day today. We came down here. Let's just extend this trend line a little bit more. So right about there. So we basically kind of back tested that and the 50 moving average and came off the lows nicely. Take a look at the intraday here. Little bid, a little dip in the morning, then a bid, and then a bid into the close with everything else. So semis actually held up okay. Remember, TXN reports tomorrow, so that will move the market. But a nice little kind of pullback pattern there on the semis. And yeah, they hung in there okay, and you could basically make a case they back tested that trend line. So again, could be setting up for a little bit of a flag for another push here, but again, we got to see a little bit more data. We got to see how the market reacts this week with all the news. IGV, take a look here as well. IGV was down pretty substantially all day long, kind of just under pressure, and then got a little bid. And take a look what happened as you got back above this trend line and put it in a little tail candle there. So maybe IGV's trying to hold up here. That is a good look to back test that trend line. Now if we can get a bounce off of that, I'd give it the upside. Maybe it can make a higher high here, but again, it's got to do some backing and filling to get above this level, and then there's lots of resistance above that, but nothing to say it can't have a little one more kind of ABC up there. So IGV hanging in there okay. XBI also hanging in there. It's basically kind of just stuck, kind of just in this little channel here. So again, kind of micro bullish consolidation for right now. Again, still a ton of resistance up here. I don't expect it to have a whole lot of upside, but it could definitely get, up to that 90 handle with some more consolidation. Transport's also hanging in there pretty well today. Got a little micro bull flag going on here. So we finally got above that trend line. Nice little pop here. Now you got kind of a bullish inside bar building. On the daily, again, we've got a few rails tomorrow, UPS tomorrow. That will move the transports for sure. But for right now, it's holding up okay. And, as long as it stays bullish inside bar, it's going to have some resistance around 14.1. And, you got this breakdown area up here, this big breakdown candle. So it's going to need to do some more backing and filling, I think. But, not an overall terrible look there building up on the transports. So we'll see what that brings tomorrow. Rates here came back down. I told you guys it was probably going to bounce off that 100 moving average. We did. Not a huge bounce, up 1.33% here on the TNX. You still have this big gap here, so that could be your short-term target. On the TYX, the 30-year, that did fill the gap. So that did fill the gap there on the 30-year yield today, and it backed off of it. Now it did close back above this neckline, so the daily head and shoulders is negated. The weekly, however, and I know this is a tight pattern, but it's still valid. The weekly is still in play until it closes above on Friday. So we'll see what we get this week, but just a little bit of a dead cat bounce there on yields, and we'll see what they do moving forward. The yield curve, though, is still holding up really well as far as 2s and 10s. So definitely make note of that moving forward. HYG here, again, pulling back with most of the market, but, down just 2 pennies. And again, it's very early, but it could be starting to form kind of an inside bar bull flag. So again, we'll keep an eye on this moving forward. It's too early to tell what's going on, especially with the Fed later this week. Really kind of just neutral on this and most of everything here. XHB here, home builders. Again, nice little topping kind of doji candle there in the near term. We'll see if this puts in a pattern. If it does, maybe it has one more shot up here, but this is a lot of resistance up here on the XHB, but it got a nice bid off the lows. Same thing with ITB. Really just kind of a pullback candle today. We'll see, needs to see a little bit more of a pattern here moving forward before doing anything with this. And then VNQ, again, holding up nicely. It was actually up 16 cents. Again, if this starts to flag, or if this can, consolidate, this is a big gap fill that we filled. I'd give it the upside to about 96, 97, but I don't see a whole lot more than that right now. Fin's also a stronger area today, so 21-cent gain there for XLF. It's hanging out above that 50 moving average. That's probably going to have to come up and fill this gap at some point. So that's kind of where I would look for it in the near term. But, it held up. It showed some strength today with yields up. So, and with the yield curve, negative and really kind of holding up well. So nice little day there for XLF. XBD, same thing. A lot of resistance up here, guys. But again, not a bad day. You pulled back. You had an inside candle on Friday and now another inside candle today. So again, if we can put in pattern, it could have another little push up there for the broker dealers. Anyways, let's take a look at crude. So crude, also a strong sector. Energy was good today, very strong. It's trying to make a higher low here. So crude may be trying to put in a little higher low. First area is going to be 101. Let's see what's the high here. So 199. So 101 on spot crude. That would give you a higher high on the daily. You still got this red bar high, you still got that 100 that's starting to downslope, and this trend line here. So we'll keep an eye on it. Again, you guys know kind of my thesis moving forward here, but doesn't mean crude can't hold up in the near term, especially these XLE names. I mean, look how oversold they were. And I said they would have a nice counter trend bounce. They've gotten that, got a daily chart higher high finally. I think max move up right now is probably about 76, 77. This is a pretty good resistance here. Daily chart wise on the XLE, but a nice little pop there for the energy stock. Same thing with XOP, right into this red bar high is going to be a lot of resistance. You got the 50 close to intersecting that 100 moving average, so you could get a little necktie action going on there if that crosses over and you go up there into price with those moving averages converging. That's usually a good setup for a pullback, but overall nice little pop there for XOP and OIH as well, just wickedly oversold here. Trying to get a higher high, maybe this can go up there and fill that gap here in the near term. But again, OIH, the weaker of the three energy ETFs. And then nat gas, just continuing to power higher. Now, he did leave a pretty sizable gap there on the daily, so that will probably need to get filled. You're coming into resistance here, $8.89 spot, not $8.88 spot 9. So we'll call it 889 or 890 if you want. There's your daily chart, red bar high. Basically got up there today, very close. If this doesn't pull back pretty soon, at that $9 handle, I think this one wants to go up and pierce double top. It is really overbought, so I would not be surprised if we had an engulfing reversal tomorrow. Any sort of reversal candle, even a topping tail type candle, I wouldn't be surprised because it's really overbought short term, and it got really oversold short term as well. This has just been a remarkable commodity to trade, and I thought about picking up a quick short on this today. I'm glad I didn't, because that was around 850, and this thing has just been powerhouse moving up here, but it's coming into a lot. This red bar high is right above this red bar high as well, so there's stiff resistance up there. We'll see how it reacts to $9. If it powers right through it, and maybe it wants to go up and pierce double top. We'll see what it does, but nat gas has held up really well here. I mean, just look at the volatility. You went from 960 down to 530 in a month, about a month. And now in, 3 weeks, we've gone from 530 to, almost back to $9 already. So amazing volatility here on nat gas. But I wouldn't do anything with it right now. It's just a little too unpredictable at the moment, but I'm getting close here. Dollar index finally closed above that, or excuse me, below that 20-day moving average. So again, that's kind of minor. It did it last time here and it ended up just being a higher low. Maybe the Fed's the catalyst to push it up to that 110 level like I was talking about. We'll have to see a little bit more here, but it did get a close below that 20 moving average, so maybe a little bit more downside in the cards. Again, the weekly is still really overbought, even though it's pulled back the last week or so, but Again, it's holding up well. Give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Gold also kind of pulling in a little bit here today. So we'll see if this can kind of make an ABC up here, as you got a nice reversal candle here off the lows. Now, obviously, Newmont got totally spit roasted today, down 13.2% here. I did pick up a starter position here, just a full disclosure for you guys. I love this level here on Newmont. It may have, it may have a little bit more downside. This looks to me like forced selling. And in fact, it definitely is forced selling, rebalancing, margin selling, etc. And you'd think that, this had a pretty good beatdown ahead of earnings. A lot of the time, the worst is priced in when you get that. But, this goes to show earnings are a gamble, and that's why I don't like trading ahead of them. But again, huge dump on Newmont. I think we're getting close to some capitulation here on the miners. GDX also into that 2450 area. This is also into a monster support level as well. So we'll see what gold and gold miners do moving forward. Again, we also have the Fed. The Fed can easily move gold and bonds. So we'll see what kind of move we get here over the next couple of days. But, gold taking a little bit of a hit. Although you did kind of, you stayed inside of Friday's candle. So again, there's a chance it could put in kind of an ABC up move here off the lows. I do like that reversal we had on Thursday as well. Silver, same kind of deal, did kind of retrace a little bit. This is into a good level. I still have silver going down and making one more little low here, but I think near term it gets a bounce. I like that $18 level here for a short term play. And then platinum as well, getting above that 20 moving average. So next step is a higher high here. We did put in a slight higher low there. So platinum holding up better than some of the other metals. Palladium also pulled in a little bit today after that surge on Friday. And then copper here, kind of just drifting higher. You're kind of making higher highs. I'd prefer this to have a cleaner pattern here, but it is trying to make a little ABC up. Again, first step is getting above that 20 and this red bar high. If you do that, you can make a move to 360 and then maybe, 370 here in the near term. All right, so let's flip over to Bitcoin and Ether. So Bitcoin holding up nicely as well. So again, kind of have like an up move and now kind of just a bullish kind of inside bar pullback. You're holding that 20 for now. That was tested, I think an hour or two ago, actually. So nice little bounce there off the 20 for Bitcoin. If it can make a move here, I mean, it's putting in bullish consolidation and, it's got a potential for, here's your down, here's your A, and then possibly B, C up. So Bitcoin holding up well. Ether has an even cleaner pattern. Take a look there. You got above that red bar high. And what did we talk about last week? So I didn't really have a chance to go over this, but we closed above that on a weekly basis. So we negated that bearish inside bar. Now you still have all this red up here. You still got this big red candle as well, but Ether has held up well, and you negated a bearish inside bar on the weekly time frame. That's a pretty good sign of strength. I'd give Ether the upside bias here. Possibly to 2,000. I still think it maybe have to do a little bit more backing and filling. There's a lot of chop up here. But maybe short term, maybe 1,800 is a little bit more of a reasonable target than 2,000. But Ether's holding up, Bitcoin's holding up, and crypto is definitely in a much better technical position than it was really just even 2 weeks ago. So nice little reversal there for crypto. Could be a bullish sign for the equity markets moving forward. Again, Google, Microsoft, Visa, Texas Instruments, all these, Apple, Amazon later the week, and the Fed can obviously change everything. We could gap up, we could gap down, we could have a fake out, we could have a fake breakdown. There's all sorts of things that can happen. So I'm a little bit more neutral right now, at least until we see how the market reacts to Microsoft and Google, and then we'll kind of reevaluate it and take it one day at a time. Anyways, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Come sign up for the webinar, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.